Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Stoppage Chats. This is episode 4, and I have a very special guest. This is Clarissa Kirsch-Downs, and me and her met in Poland. We were under the same contracts, or not contract, same agent, I mean. And did I reach out to you before the game that we played against each other? Or was it after? I can't remember.
I actually don't remember.
I don't know. I feel like
after.
I feel like it might have been after, right?
Yeah, after
the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that we had the same agent, and that I saw that we were playing each other. I was like, I don't know anyone else in Poland, so let me just walk over and introduce myself, and then we kind of like went from there. Like we kind of texted.
Yeah, we had brunch in Warsaw.
Right. Yeah, we went. Was it for Easter? I think that was what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she invited me to come to Warsaw for Easter, which is really cool because I was never in Warsaw before. And then it was me, you, and then your friend that came.
Yeah, Kim. She's still in Poland.
Right, yeah, Kim. And that was a really fun time. We just chatted for like hours and hours on end, sitting down, having some brunch, and then we kind of walked around a little bit and saw Warsaw, which is really cool. And yeah, and then from there, I think because it was towards the end of the season, so we both finished up our seasons, and then I went back home for a little bit, and then I just kind of want to maybe go through like your recent like season in Mexico and like how you went from Poland to Mexico, and then kind of go from there after that.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm Clarissa. I played in Poland for a little bit, and then I recently played for Cruz Azul in Mexico City. My experience was good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I just it was a new environment, especially leaving Poland for being there for like 4 years.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a lot different environment, weather, people, communities, that you build, and then you have to kind of start all over when you go to a new country. So, and Mexico City has so many people too. So
you were in the city.
Yeah, I was in the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's so many, it's like a mega city at that point. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things to do, but I was so overwhelmed because coming from such a small town, rural, there's no transportation. There's a bus that goes to like the nearest city for like 8 zloty, going to Mexico City where there's transportation everywhere, taxis everywhere, people everywhere. For me, it was like a different type of environment, which I really like because I do like the city, but I think that kind of city was too big for me.
I
just didn't know what to do. But yeah, the soccer part was fine. I met a lot of great people. Maybe it wasn't the experience that I wanted to have, I thought I could have had. But, I'm still grateful that I got to go and to experience something different. The football was a lot different as well.
Okay.
The competitiveness. Some of that. It was
what did you think that you would have gotten out of that experience? Like what, because I know you just said that you thought you would have had something different. Like what do you mean by
that? I just think that before I went to Mexico, I was kind of hesitant because I wasn't sure how much I really loved the game as much as I thought I did. And that like stems back from, having an injury and then like finding different things that you really want to do. So I think what I thought I could have gotten out of it was like building my love for it more, or building that like trust and that like confidence. But I think over time, my confidence just got worse while I was there. So like my mental health was not at a good point while I was there. And I was trying really hard to, see what I could do to help myself. So I did talk to like sports therapists and stuff, and that did really help. And I recommend any professional athlete to, don't be scared to speak to somebody if you feel like those confidence issues are there.
For sure.
And then after a while, I started gaining that confidence back. And it got to a point where I was playing because I felt free at that point. I wasn't
Yeah.
playing because of the playing time. I wasn't playing because I needed to impress the coach at that point. I
Yeah.
was just playing for me. And I think that helped me a lot towards the end of my career because it helped me think that I did the best that I could and I can't control the non-controllables. I
Yeah.
think I'm the type of person that's like, I need to be number one all the time. But no, I think that was like a good life lesson for me to know that I can't control everything and I can only do what I do on the pitch. And if the coach recognizes that, great. If he doesn't, at the end of the day, I can only do what I do.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a learning curve, especially playing abroad, is like understanding that you can't control everything. And then
Mhm.
also that there's some points where there's that language barrier. So even if like you try to communicate some of like your concerns or stuff like that, like
Mhm.
even like with me right now, it's like hard to fully translate that into what
Yeah.
you're actually feeling. And then there could be miscommunication and then just like more issues that might stem from that. So I
Yeah.
100% get that. I feel like that's just such a thing that you learn over time. I feel like that doesn't just like sometimes it happens maybe, but I feel like
Mhm.
that's over time. So with this most recent experience, like is that kind of what propelled you to just say, you know what, I've done my time like playing professionally abroad, like now it's time to hang up the boots, or was it kind of a couple of other things?
Um, yeah, I think my experience made me realize that there's other things to life than playing soccer,
Yeah,
especially when you've been playing for like 20 plus years and then in the professional setting for 6 years. For
yeah,
me, I knew that I was going to have to hang up the boots eventually, but to be honest, I didn't expect it to be this quickly. I thought I
okay,
was going to have a little bit more time to like play and stuff. But for me, like I said, I had an injury before. I tore my Achilles like in 2024, so like
yeah,
2 years ago. And I think that really opened my eyes to there's other things to life than sports. Stop. Sorry.
what was that?
Here we go. Stop. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I realized that. Sit down. Stop. And there's four of them. Like, I
Oh
can't
my god,
control them. Sit down.
that is
Yeah.
really like on my end, I can't even like hear any of that. So I just like I see.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Jesus, it
Oh my
scared me.
gosh.
I was like, "Whoa!" But no, I had a Achilles injury, and to this day, I've never watched the video of me hurting
Oh,
myself because I'm
oh, you
just
have it
like,
on video. Was it a game?
yeah, I was against a medic
Oh,
in Poland.
okay.
I've never watched the video, and like it happened the 92nd minute of the game or something, and please get down.
Hello.
And no, you need to be quiet. Um, and yeah, I think I still have a lot of trauma with that injury because, people who have done their ACLs or stuff, they know how hard it is to like bounce back from such a
Mhm.
tough injury like that. And with my Achilles, it's how you walk, you
Yeah.
know, it's everything. If you don't have that, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so when I tore that, it was just so unfortunate because I didn't jump, I didn't run, I just took a step back, and then my life changed in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I could have just came out of the game and maybe nothing would have happened, but in those 10 seconds, I
Yeah, it's
was
like
fighting for
instant.
my team for the win, and then I got injured. So for me, I think that was also a outlining factor that everything that I went through, and I persevered. I worked really hard to come back within 6 months, which is like
Yeah.
crazy, but I could come back in 6 months and practice, and then I got to play a game in like 7.5 months. So for me, I reached the goals that I wanted to do.
Mhm.
But in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, well, what else is there besides soccer?
Yeah.
Because I did have this injury and that's all I would think about during that time. And then after the injury, I thought, okay, what are other things that I like to do? What are things that I like to, like hobbies and stuff, So I had to find a different part of Clarissa, that
Yeah.
was not just a soccer player. I had to find things that I enjoyed that I never really thought about doing because I thought I was going to be a soccer player forever.
Yeah. And like looking back on that time now, that gave you the freedom to like look at those other like interests. Like, are you like, obviously, like having injuries, like especially that kind of injury, is so detrimental to everything. Like you just said, like it's just like the way you walk is like with ACLs. Like I've, knock on wood, never tore my ACL, but I know that like some players even play after like the whole rest of the game or whatever after they torn it, or yeah, like they can still like walk, but again, like you fully tore your Achilles. Like looking back in that time, are you kind of grateful that you had time to just like step away from the sport and look at things differently? And then now that you're retired, you're like, okay, now I kind of know what path I want to go on. Or is it more so like, I don't know, I just feel like now that you had time in between your career to like look at that and then able to come back.
In the beginning, I wasn't grateful.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you were.
I cried all the time.
Yeah.
Just because, I had such good opportunities to play for a better team, and like not saying like Poland is not at that level, but I felt like I could strive for more.
Yeah.
And because I was in Poland for so long, I thought, okay, I can get out of this environment and challenge myself. But then when I got injured, that kind of all went away. And I really had to sit and think, what can I do after this injury? So in a way I am grateful because I got to figure out, what do I like to do? For example, I watch soccer all the time. And I thought to myself, well, I've always wanted to be a coach. So how can I analyze these certain games? How can I break down a team by just watching? And I feel like that's kind of instinct when you're a player. You always try to think about, okay, how can I stop this attacker from doing these 1v1s, or in the midfield, how can I turn this player? So I feel like we're always thinking about that, but I think coaching, you have to take that next step, not for yourself, but for a community, for the team that you're actually coaching. So I think that's like another level that you have to think about. So I was trying to simulate myself in these situations, what would I do? And I've coached before, so I kind of had an idea, but I think that also helped me just put myself in my coach's situation, in Poland. And then when I went to a new team in Poland, I did the same thing. And then when I was at Cruz Azul, I did the same thing. So I think that it became instinct for me at that point that I knew I wanted to do something more than just play soccer. I wanted to coach soccer, mentor players, develop players. So I think that in a way I am grateful, but man, it was hard.
Yeah, I mean, I know like having injury in the moment is, I mean, it's, as a player, it's like kind of like what you're supposed to do. Like I recently like had to sit out a couple weeks because I had 2 hits to the head, so I had kind of like a pretty, not severe, but just like a concussion that lasts a long time. And it's like another injury where just like you have to just sit there, and it's like, what am I doing right now? Like it's the same thing, but again, like you take time away from the sport and see like what, again, like interests you have, like what other things are important outside the sport. I'm definitely in line with like how that all went for you, but I kind of want to revert back to like your career specifically, because I know you started in Italy, and then was it Italy right to Poland, or was there a team in between that? And then just like kind of go through your career in Poland, because I know we talked about it before, but you had a long stints there.
Yeah. So I started in Italy. I got I was in this program called Soccer Management Institute.
Okay.
I feel like they're kind of branching out and getting really well known for um, college players, or even maybe I think I saw like high school graduates who want to further their career
Okay.
in coaching and in playing. So I had the opportunity to go through this program and get my master's in sports management at the American University of Rome. And through that program, I got to try out for Roma Calcio Femminile.
Hmm.
It's a Serie B team. So I got to try out with them, and I got the opportunity to play on the team. So
That's
I
like,
was there for about 9 months, and I really loved it. The girls were amazing. They really made me feel like part of the team, part of a community. I think that's
hmm.
really important, especially when you're not from the same culture, same
Yeah.
language. So that really helped a lot, and it helped me uh, or encouraged me to learn Italian as well, so I
Yeah.
could communicate with the girls because I'm in their space. And I think it's important, especially if you want to play overseas, to realize that you're on other people's spaces and to
Yeah.
respect that. And I know there are people that say, well, the language is too hard or something. Okay, well, I think it's important to show that you're um, being respectful. So just learning terms on the pitch,
Yeah.
I think that can go a long way to show, okay, like she's really making an effort. So I tried to always do that. And since we were in school there, we took Italian classes. So I think
Okay.
that also helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Just even if I can't reciprocate or speak back, I can at least understand what they're saying. So for me,
Right.
that was really important. And then COVID hit. And in
Oh,
Italy,
that was
it was
2019. Okay,
really, really
2019.
bad.
Yeah.
They shut down the whole country. So I went back home
Hmm.
and I stayed home for a year and a half. I
Okay.
had coaching jobs. I had odd jobs, you would say,
Hmm.
and I was just trying to figure out what is after this, because with COVID, no one really knew how
Yeah.
long it was going to last or
Yeah.
what was going to happen. So I ended up in the summer of 2021 playing for Lancaster Inferno,
Hmm.
and it's a USL team at the no, not US. Oh my gosh,
UWS or you?
UWS. Yes, thank you.
One
Yeah,
of the one of
yeah,
the
yeah. I knew it wasn't USL,
biggest
but
teams.
UWS
Yeah.
team, and it's mostly, I guess you would say, for, please stop. No, it's mostly for like, uh, I guess college developed kids. And
Yeah.
at the time I was 23, 24. Uh,
Hmm.
but I knew I wanted to still like play for fun, even if
Yeah.
I didn't know what was after this time. And I ended up getting an agent, and he brought me an opportunity to go to Poland and do a trial. And I packed all my bags. I was like, I'm not coming home.
Yeah. No, I'm
Um,
getting out of here.
yeah, and I got to go to Poland and do a trial, and I made it on the team, which is for me
Oh,
really.
so you didn't have a contract before, you just went to trial.
No, I just went to trial. Yeah,
Oh yeah, so you just you bet on
yeah, I
yourself, which
like
is like
busted my butt, really
yeah,
worked really
yeah.
hard because I knew I didn't want to come home. Like this was always my dream to
Mhm.
be a professional soccer player again. Because the
Yeah.
first time it was reality, and then something
Yeah.
happens, and then so I really wanted to make sure this time it stuck. So yeah, so it was just a trial, and I went and I made it, and I was with the Apple Orlandinsk
Hmm.
um, for 3 years. Yeah, and I loved it a lot.
Yeah, Gdansk is
I
such a
stayed
cool
there for
city.
3 years, so I feel
Yeah.
like that should show that I really enjoyed my time. The community was amazing. The president, the vice president, the technical director.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they all really made me feel welcome every year that I was there, always checking up on me, you know, asking if I'm all right, you know, how's my mental health, and all that stuff. And in the beginning, it was really hard because I was the only foreigner on the team, like
Oh
that
wow. Okay.
spoke English. So for
Yeah.
me, it was really hard in the beginning. A lot of the girls were hesitant to speak to me or translate things, so they were really
Yeah.
nervous. But after my second, or when it came to my second year, Kim, who is hung out with us in Warsaw, she
Yeah.
came to Gdańsk with the same agent. So it
Okay.
was really nice to have someone that was also from the same place, from the same area. She grew up in Philadelphia. I went to school and college in Philadelphia, so it was like kind of a small world thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I went to Poland or played in Apollonia Gdańsk, and then I went to Górnik Łęczna, which is
Why did you decide to leave Gdańsk after 3 years?
I feel like I needed a new environment.
Mm-hmm.
At that time I tore my Achilles, so
So that was the season. That was the
yeah,
team.
so I think for everyone involved, we didn't know what was next, you know, for them. And I respect them being honest, but they didn't know if I would be the same player again.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it was disappointing because I felt like I was really important to them. You
Yeah.
know? But then when an injury happens, it's like you're kind of in the back end of
Yeah.
it. And that also hit me with reality, like a life lesson that you're just a number at the end of the day, you know, and it's
Yeah.
sad to say, but that's business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ended up leaving because of contract stuff and, you know, all that. But Wenchna was willing to bring me in, even though I was injured. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it was I think I was 4 months post-op. So at the time I was already done the hardest parts.
Of
So
rehab and stuff.
yeah, of rehab. So I had to just go through like the strength
Right.
part. So I had
And
a really good trainer there. So it was
were
good.
you you were rehabbing in Poland. You didn't go home to rehab.
So I rehabbed in Gdańsk for the first 2 months, and
Okay.
then I went home
Okay.
for the summer. Yes, and I paid out of pocket myself to
Oh wow.
yeah, to see a physical therapist here in the US
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, our health insurance, and I'm over a certain age, so I don't have that
Yeah.
anymore. So I paid
Yeah.
with yeah, I paid out of
Gotta figure out
pocket.
on your own.
But my trainer here was great. I did a lot of the harder parts with him too.
Mm-hmm.
I got to work with him for a month, and then I went to Poland again
Nice.
with Górnik Łęczna. And I didn't get to practice until like September, which is
Okay.
not
So like a
terrible.
yeah.
And then I got to play my first game in October. And then our coach ended up getting fired. So that was like really
Yeah.
interesting to go through because I haven't had that since Italy, like going
Oh,
through
in Italy you had a coaching change.
yeah, so I
Okay.
haven't really had a coaching change before. So like
Yeah.
since that time, so I didn't really know who was coming in, you know, how was that going to
Yeah.
impact the team? And at that time I wasn't a starter. So for me, I was just thinking, okay, what can I do to really showcase myself and present
Right.
myself that,
Right.
you know, I
It's like a
deserve to
whole new because I went through that this season too, and it's like I know I was brought here for a reason, but having a new coach is like you kind of have to just rally up again and be like, okay, this is like
Mhm.
what I can bring to the team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the spring season started, I became a starter, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to play 90 minutes almost every match except for like maybe one or two. So for me,
Yeah.
that really hit my goal is that within a year, I was able to like be a starter again and play 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me that was most important to show
Yeah.
that I can do it to my like I was doing that for myself, you know.
Right. Right. And so for the second team in Poland, is that when you changed agents, or like when did that exactly happen? Because I
Uh
know then we
actually
had.
happened before I tore my Achilles.
Oh, okay. That was
Yeah,
before everything.
so you talked about how we have the same agent. So I ended up at the time I did not want to work with my agent anymore. It was just getting weird. I feel like everyone
Getting weird with
has
like,
interesting uh
yeah.
journeys with agents, and for me it was time to hang it up.
Yeah.
It got crazy because he wouldn't not represent me, and I told
Yeah, he
him,
wouldn't let you go, right?
yeah, like I kept telling him our contract is done and he wouldn't let it go. But at the time I just emailed a lot of agents, made my own highlight tape,
Yeah.
and sent them, emails, my CV, my resume,
Mhm.
and inspired ended up reaching out. And Gabriel, he's great. We had a really good like phone call, and I signed with him. And then I think a week later I tore my Achilles, and it was really hard to like tell him because we had a lot of like good conversations and just
Yeah.
like opportunities abroad. And
Like
then
outside
to
of
say,
Poland.
yeah, so to say
Yeah.
that, hey, I just tore my Achilles is kind of
Oh,
awkward because I just signed with him. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, so he's the one that helped you get the second team in
yeah.
Poland. Okay.
Well, he didn't the club reached out to me because they already
Okay.
knew me from
Right.
playing in Poland itself. And then
Mhm.
obviously Gabriel just handled like the contract stuff, but
Right.
and like other like conversations. But they reached out to me first and then I just referred to my agent.
Okay. Yeah. And then so you played the season for them, the second team. And what were your thoughts at the end of the season? Like, did you want to leave Poland and go to a different team, or like did you want to sign with them again? Like, what was kind of your thoughts before going to Mexico?
I think there was a lot of thoughts I had. I could just be comfortable and just stay and,
Mm-hmm.
ride the wave because I think they also wanted me to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to challenge myself also. So that is another reason why I wanted to just leave Poland.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, I could have just been comfortable and just said whatever, and I want to stay because I know what I'm getting. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm the kind of person that likes to challenge myself.
Right.
So for me, I wanted a different environment where I could play with different kinds of women, different
Mm-hmm.
style, different, communication style, coaching style. So for me, I just wanted to challenge myself. So I think that was the biggest factor. But I also wanted to be closer to home.
Right.
The flight from Poland to DC is like uh, 13 hours
Yeah.
total,
That's a long time.
with layovers and stuff.
And the
Um,
time difference too.
yeah, but from DC to Mexico City, it was 4, 5.
Oh, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad at all.
Yeah. So it wasn't bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then like looking back then on your overall career, I know you said that you really enjoyed playing in Dansk with that team, is that, would you say that that was like out of the four, you've played on 4 teams, 4 professional teams.
Yeah.
Out of the 4, would that be like kind of like the one that you enjoyed playing with the most since you were there for the longest, or does it kind of depend on different characteristics?
Yeah, I think it just depends on how you're feeling in those moments. I think every team had good moments.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to pick which one I like best because, like, you know, you live in Rome and it's beautiful. The food is great. I gained like 15 pounds there, you know, it was just a really good time. I met like lifelong friends there that I lived with, that I played with. So for me, I could say like that was the best. But then when I go to Poland, you know, I met a lot of great people, a lot of people in that community that I still talk to this day, you know. And then in Wenchna, you know, I really am grateful that for that experience because they took a chance on me even though I was injured. And then I did get rewarded because I worked so hard and started and played, and they wanted me to stay, but I wanted to challenge myself. And then Cruz Azul, I met really great people there as well, and, you know, learned Spanish for the 6 months that I was there. I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but I enough to like get by. And you know, I got to take care of a mother cat and her kittens, you know, like, so that was something that I really
enjoyed. Mom in Mexico?
Huh?
You're a cat mom in Mexico?
Yeah. They were so cute. 4 little babies, 2 boys, 2 girls. And then I am a cat mom because I have a cat that I brought home from Poland. So like that's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. His name is Mochi. He's a orange Garfield. I don't know where he's at, but yeah. So I could say that that's one of the reasons why I loved it. I think every place that you go to, there's moments and memories that I'll always cherish forever. So it's hard to really say which one I really liked.
No, that makes sense. And yeah, just based on what you're saying, there's so many, like each team, like in the different countries, there's so many different aspects that make it the experience that it is. And I was wondering for you, like specifically what a team may bring to the table, like what are certain things that a team could do to like make your experience a bit, I don't know if I would rather say easier, but just like, I mean, maybe easier to adapt to like a new country and everything. Like, is there specific things that teams have done, or do you think teams should do for international players when they get brought in?
Patience. Have patience. I think, especially coaches, they want you to come in and fit the system right away. And, you know, I think just having patience and like trying to work with that player, you know, instead of having that player work for you is what I would say. I think a lot of coaches have these systems that they think is put in place for players that doesn't really always fit, you know, all the time. So I feel like coaches can adjust, like we can adjust, you know, we're always expected to adjust and to adapt, but I think coaches can do the same thing. And for teammates, I feel like from my experience in Poland, at least with my first team, it was really hard at first. I cried all the time. I wanted to go home.
I think it's a huge, like, you being the only international is also a huge difference, because I haven't been in a team yet where I would be the only one. And I think having that shared experience with you, like as a teammate, makes all the difference. So I can only imagine. Like,
yeah, it was really hard. I felt mute. I felt unheard. My friend was the goalkeeper coach. She was the only one that really like checked up on me and made sure if I was okay. And I think for people who aren't from that country that come in, I think it's just important to make them feel seen. You know, when I was in my second year in Poland, a lot of the girls on the team embraced me more because they got to know me more.
Yeah.
But they didn't try to do that in the first year. So I think, and it could be a culture thing, you know, I'm also a woman of color. So it could have been maybe the first time they're meeting a Black woman. I don't know. I can't speak for
I know
them.
my time in Poland, like there's not much diversity going around.
Yeah. So it could be a little difficult for those who have never encountered a Black woman or a person of color.
Yeah.
But I knew that when Kim came in, I wanted her to feel as comfortable as possible.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
want her to feel the same way that I did. The crying, I mean, she still cried, but
yeah,
but,
I mean, I feel like
know,
that's
just
kind of
like,
a rite of passage when you're your first time playing abroad. It's like you gotta shut the tears a little bit. You gotta
yeah. So I would just say, like, make your teammates feel seen, whether it's a hello, how are you,
yeah,
you know, how are you doing, what are things in the city that like you've been doing outside of soccer, even invite them to like coffee dates. I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what really helped me my second year. There's my one teammate, her name is Evelina, love you, girl. She made me feel so loved all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She felt like, even though she was younger than me, she felt like my mom. Like, she made us like baked goods all the time.
That
She
is amazing.
coffee date all the time.
Yeah.
She would always make sure we're eating, make sure we're drinking water. Like,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
is the type of person that I still call my friend to this day, because she always made me feel welcomed. And when I would tell her about my experience in my first year, she's like, what? Like, she was just shocked.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like really commend players that maybe they've never really interacted with another international person before or a foreigner, but she was still willing to go out of her way to invite me to things. Or, you know, she also wants to go play abroad, so she knows, okay, if I'm in this certain situation, I don't want to feel like that, so
Yeah.
I want to do good onto others that they could do for me, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like having that kind of mindset, you know, making people feel seen, even if you don't speak the same language, a smile can go a long way, is what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the little things, like,
Yeah.
honestly, when it comes to like a new international player brought in. And I think, like, obviously before you going abroad, there's obviously been other players that have gone abroad, but you being the only one on that team, and then the next season another one is brought on, and then I would think more after that. It's
like my third season, we had like maybe 10 international players.
Yeah, like knowing that, even like, it's just so important for you specifically, but as like an outsider looking in, like, so important that you like stuck through it and was able to like clear that path to make it easier for the next person after that and after that. Because like, even some of like the stuff I've gone through and I'm going through currently, it's obviously kind of, it's easy to like think about yourself, but knowing that like hopefully the next season whoever comes in from other places like has an easier time, because like you were the one like paving that way for it. So I think, again, just like I think it's just so important that like you stuck through it, because again, you trialed there and you came after like the whole thing with COVID. So like there's other players that could have easily went in, trialed, got on the team, but then based on what your first experience was, like they could have just left and you like continue to stay. So I think, again, like that's just so important.
Yeah. And I think Poland in itself, it's not diverse, but I think the league, the women's league, has grown like a lot since I've been there. And that was in 2021. So it's been 5 years since they've grown. There's a lot of international players now. So I think they're trying to open up more to the diversity. And I think that will also help elevate the league there as well. So it's really exciting to see. Even now, I just watched Kim play like yesterday. It's exciting to see that they're opening up to foreigners, coming into the league and stuff. So I hope that the girls that do come to Poland or any other country, they do feel seen and welcomed, because I think that can also make or break your experience.
For sure. And so talking about like the outside, like what they could do as a player coming into a new team in a new country, like what mindset do you think is the most helpful in those certain situations? Or like what do you think a player should be bringing in to a team that would also help the transition?
It's a good question. I think being adaptable is really important. If you are really stubborn and don't want to, not conform, but you don't want to change your mindset when you get to another country, I think that is not efficient, because like before I went to Poland, I didn't even know what the language sounded like. I had no idea. But I think over time I had to adapt to the other girls, the language barrier, learning the Polish on the pitch, trying to talk to my coaches as much as possible about tactics or technical or physical, things that we had to do on the team. So I think trying to be adaptable as much as possible is super important. And just knowing that failure is okay. I'm a perfectionist. I know I am, but I also know that failing is sometimes the key to success. You're going to fail at like 1,000 things, but it's the reward that you get after the fact, and for me, I failed a bunch of times in the game when I first got there. I wasn't adjusting to the style of play or the speed of play. But by the time I got to my second year, I got better. And then by the time it was my third year, I knew the league. I was a defensive midfielder, and I had the most goals on the team after the first half of the season, and I was one of the voting captains on the team. Even though Polish is not my first language, they were willing to vote me on. Kim was the second captain on the team, because everyone could see her leadership. So I think having the mindset of going in and just being adaptable, being okay with failure, and just trying to include yourself with the team as much as possible. There are going to be people that don't speak the same language and don't want to interact with you. That's okay. But I think
you're not going to be friends with everybody.
But just trying to be the best teammate possible, always fighting for each other, that grit. If you notice that, someone on the team is having a hard time, say something, So I think just having that mindset that you would when you're at home, just bring the same kind of mindset overseas. Just don't bring too much ego, because, I think that could also be a little head thing with other players on the team. But
no, for sure. I think
just adjusting.
I think everything you brought up is so valid, and especially I feel like Americans brought into international teams, there's a certain, I wouldn't say stigma, but you're, as American, you brought it in for a reason, and I think those certain characteristics can be a good thing. You're there for those reasons, but again, you have to, like you said, adapt, and also I feel kind of work in this in what's the word, you have to work in not your comfort zone, you have to work outside of it. And for me, I'm working every time to be more of a person to reach out and ask questions and do this type of stuff, even if that's not your per se personality. Being international on a team, most often you have to be the one to do those things if you want to create those relationships. And I feel like that's important, because you just said, having a more like a more enjoyable experience on a team. Like you kind of
Mhm.
have to do that to like create a certain environment for yourself and for the players to be like, hey, I got your back, you got my back, like let's go
Mhm.
win this game, right? And
Yeah.
so I feel like a lot of it happens outside of the pitch when it
Yeah, and
comes to
like you
the
said, I think Americans do have this stigma that, we're brought in for a reason. Like you have to kind of be one of the best on the team or whatever, you know?
yeah,
But I think another thing for a mindset is like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's
yeah,
not worth it. It's not worth the pressure. It's not worth, you know, feeling deflated every game. Like, oh, I didn't score today, or oh, I didn't
yeah,
have assists today. Like those moments don't matter. Like they do in the grand scheme of things, but
yeah,
don't only show that as your progress. Don't
yeah,
look at other things like, oh wow, I made a great tackle today, or I won like more than 50% of the balls for headers or something like that, or
yeah,
I made two great long balls. Like I think don't put too much pressure on yourself. Always try to find the good things that you've done,
mhm,
because I think as players, we see more of the bad things, and
yeah,
we don't look at, no, I actually did play good today. Yeah, I
yeah,
had two moments that were not great, but I did the best that I could. So I think that's like
mhm,
another thing I would say. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because that is also another way to not love the game as much as you did before, I would say.
yeah. It's like it's a self-inflicting thing,
Hmm.
pressure. Like it's something that maybe you say like you might feel an outside pressure, but it's really like, okay, that might be like something that is happening, but it's like how you internalize it and react to
Hmm.
it. And like yeah, like you said, not letting it disrupt kind of how you view day-to-day training, your games. And I mean, I even think like let's say like you look back at a season and you're like, that might not have been my best season. But from you were then to like where you are now as a player, like there's such a vast difference, and like you like learn so much. Like even for me, from my first time playing in Portugal and Spain, and then now to here, like those beginning experiences I had might not have been the best, but that is, I wouldn't be the player I am if I didn't have those either. It's
Hmm.
like even taking those certain experiences, like you can still like have it be a positive effect on like your career and the way you play and how you view things too.
100%.
Oh, I just dropped my ring. Yeah, that's okay. So on kind of this topic too, I wanted to ask, like, because there's so many more girls wanting to play professional, like either coming out of high school or coming out of university, and I wanted your thoughts on like with how the women's game is developing now. What do you think are the challenges that girls are facing now, like trying to get into the program in comparison to like when you were? And do you think like things are easier now or harder in certain aspects?
I feel like it's a little easier now.
Okay.
Just a little.
Yeah.
I think back then a lot of girls kind of gave up really quickly because they couldn't play at a certain level. There was
Yeah.
no agent that would, help them get abroad. And there was only the NWSL.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of unfortunately, a lot of American women can't play in their home country,
Yeah.
which is really unfortunate. But there is a standard. And I think I got lucky with the agent that I had, that I was able to go abroad.
Mhm.
But I think, like, for example, I'm the only woman in my youth team that played professionally.
Yeah.
Because people
Yeah.
just thought, oh, there's no money in it, or, I need to start a career because that is like what society tells us to do.
Mhm.
So I think now it's a little easier because there's more teams, there's more leagues. Now there is another league in America, the
Mhm.
USL League.
Yep.
So there is another league, but it's still hard for
Yeah.
American women to play in the States. And at least in my experience, if you don't fit a certain criteria, you can't play here.
Yep.
I hate to say that. I hate that that's reality, but especially because I've been through this experience, soccer is politics.
Yep.
Like, politics isn't everything, and it's unfortunate, it's annoying, but you have to kind of know someone and know someone that knows someone to get here. Or you have to play at a really big school and then you get that opportunity. And it's not always the case. There are some players that come from smaller schools and they trial and they make it, and that's amazing. But that's like 0.09%, you know? And it's really unfortunate. So I think in a way that there is a lot of opportunities for girls to play overseas, but not everyone is willing to play overseas. So I would say it's a little easier because there is more teams, more leagues, but it's also hard because there's a lot of players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's hard to say either or, right? Because like you just said, there's more opportunity, more like spots for girls to play overseas, and like obviously the new league here. But then again, like because a lot of information is more like accessible, and like again with the group chat I'm a part of, and like knowing that like you can actually see clear pathways now, like everyone's starting to like just want to go do that. And I feel like knowing that and knowing like some of these teams are getting such an influx of like emails from players and CVs and stuff like that, I feel like it might actually make it harder at the end of the day, because they're probably like getting tired like seeing all that too. So it's just like I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like hit or miss when it comes to say like is it easier, is it harder? Like you can say it's easier because of opportunities, but it's just like so many girls now and women.
There's so many girls, but also the women's game is developing so much so quickly that like the exposure of the World Cup, the Euros, the Olympics, CONCACAF, or the Asian Cup was just recently. You know, there's such a exposure in women's sports now, especially soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, that it's harder, or these leagues are now developing faster. So for an example, like in Poland, the women's team recently went to the Euros for the first time ever. And it's because they're going to other countries and developing quickly. And then the girls that are youth are making their World Cups for like U17. It's because they're developing quickly as well, because they're being inspired by Payor or Padilla Vidas, who also plays on the professional team. So they're being inspired, so they're working 10 times harder. So I feel like because everyone is developing, and Philippines, they're doing really well for the women's too. So I feel like everyone is developing very fast, that they're taking more chances on homegrown players, on national born players that are actually from that country. They're like, okay, like we don't need to bring international players in to help us anymore. Now we have a standard, we have an expectation, like these girls are getting a lot better. And of course they're still going to bring in international players, but I think girls are really dedicated to soccer because soccer is now more exposed, and there's a job in it now. People can say like, I'm a professional soccer player now. Like I got to play in Poland with like 15-year-olds, and I'm like, how are you doing this? But that is the system that they have, and America has its own system. But I think in Europe and in Asia, it's developing faster because they have academies. So it's easier for them to go through the ranks, you know? In America, we don't have that. So it's really
Yeah.
interesting to see the differences. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what you're saying about like the types of players that the US teams are more so looking at. Because I mean, yeah, the way the US is set up, it's, I mean, for the longest time it was like you play at a big Division 1 school and university, and then you get picked up by
Mhm.
USL. And I feel like even the USL, like from what I've seen, it's basically like that, where like it's just a lot of college kids coming right out of college
Mhm.
into that league. And in my eyes, to be completely honest, I feel like that might be a little bit of an issue, because then you see, like, it's just kind of like another league that looks like college level play, which is like
Mhm.
when you play abroad, you see such differences, and you like are able to like get better as a player and then bring in a certain different aspect to like the next team that you're a part of. So I feel like not going abroad sometimes like hinders like your growth as a player too, because you're not
Mhm.
experiencing like those different playing styles and coaching and all that.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why certain U.S. women's national team players play abroad.
Yeah.
Like Alyssa Thompson just went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Lindsay Heaps is at Lyon. You know, I feel like there's a reason why these players play abroad, and I feel like girls who come up the ranks in America shouldn't be afraid to go abroad. I think
Yeah.
as long as you have that experience, you know, you tried it at the end of the day. It's not for everyone. Like I know
Mhm.
some girls that tried it for a year and they're like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's
But
what,
at
yeah.
least you tried it. You exposed yourself to
Mhm.
different culture, environment, and, you know, playing style, people. At the end of the day, I think that is what matters.
Yeah. And not even like there's obviously a football aspect of it, like your growth as a player. But as a person, like
Mhm.
how many people get to say, yeah, like I went over to live in a country for a year playing a sport that I love? Like
Yeah.
there's
Not a lot.
very few people that get to say that. And I think
Mhm.
even having that mindset too, when you're having like a difficult day or week, like in training, stuff like that, like looking outside, bigger picture, me, like I'm not at home. I'm meeting a bunch of new people. Like I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life and take all these
Mhm.
life experiences like throughout all these other opportunities that I get. So I think having that aspect too, like you keep saying, like football isn't everything. Like you
Yeah,
have a life outside of it, and like you won't be able to play forever anyway.
yeah,
So like, what can you do to have a fulfilling career or pathway like after that?
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
and I think that's a good way to like go into kind of now post playing, going into a coaching career. Like, kind of where are you sitting with things with that?
Um, sorry. Uh, Coaching. So right now I'm just shadowing, you
Okay.
know, another woman, female coach,
Mhm.
um, at my youth club that I used to play for Maryland United. And it's good. I really like her. We're like around the same age.
Mhm.
So she is really ins- like inspirational for me because I don't know if you've had this experience, but I've never had a lead female coach.
Yeah.
Um, you know, like a head coach. I've
Yeah.
had one in high school, but love her to death, but it's not the same
Yeah.
um, as
Yeah.
like club soccer. I've had one coach, but she was my coach for like 3 months and then she left. So
Okay.
I can't say that I've had like a head coach, a lead coach that really inspired me. So for me, working under her is really good for me.
Mhm.
And I get to see her impact with her players and, you know, you know, yeah, like the impact that she has on them is great. She showed me a video of them like, you know, sending her like good luck videos, you know, just something that's really simple, but you could tell that she has really made like she really changed their lives.
Yeah.
Little kids are not going to just send you videos to send you video. You know, like they're
No.
yeah, like they're like in 8th grade, 9th grade. Like they're not going to do that just for the fun of it. Like they're
No.
doing it because she really has made a change in their life. So I really look up to her in that aspect.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just like shadowing for now. I've been applying to, you know, college jobs just in
Okay.
case. Because there's a difference between youth and college, you know,
Yeah.
developmental wise, you know, administration stuff, recruiting is like all on the college side, whereas youth is
Mhm.
more development, progression,
Yeah.
decision making, you know, it's like really different. So I'm trying to decide what I really want to do on that aspect, you know, either or. Um, and yeah, I get to take my B license, my USSF B license.
Yeah.
No. In July, I'm really nervous. I don't like talking. Uh,
Um, I was gonna say my boyfriend just went through that this past December. He just graduated and got his B license, and yeah, it's a lot of
give
like.
me his number so I can ask him questions.
No, I will get in contact with him for you because like he was just yeah he did a bunch of presentations and like had to like record videos and like do a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely talk to him about it.
Yes,
Get you two
please. I'm
connected.
like really stressed. It's because like I don't like presenting, you
Yeah.
know, and I used to have really bad social anxiety, so I just being in that type of environment, I'm like, I don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
No,
No, but
I'm
yeah,
with
no,
you.
I'm excited though. I'm really excited because,
Yeah.
um, like I said, there's women coaches, but there's not, you
Yeah.
know, like there's so many teams out there,
Hmm.
and in I'm trying to think. In Italy, I did not have a woman coach.
Yeah.
In Poland, I had a woman coach, but she was a goalkeeper coach, so she didn't work with
No.
us.
Yeah. No.
And then in Wenchna, I had an assistant female coach, um, and she was great. And in Cruz Azul, I didn't have nothing. Yeah.
I think in every league I played in so far, there might have been possibly one female head coach for like one of the teams, but like that's it,
Yeah.
or even an assistant. And I don't know if you saw, but FIFA just came out like with
Mhm.
saying what was it? It was there needs to be at least one woman coach on the team, like an
Yeah, there
assistant.
has to be at least two.
Oh,
So
two. Okay.
yeah, they either have to be a head coach or assistant, and then you have to have like another one.
So how do you feel about that? Do you think it's a good thing that they're doing that? That they're
This
making
is a
it a
good
mandate?
question
Yeah.
because I talked to my parents about this, and my mom's like, "Oh, this is wonderful." I'm like, "It's great, but I don't want to be hired because I'm a woman." You
Yeah.
know, like it's like a pride thing. I don't know, but
Mhm.
like I want to be hired because I'm good at my job, that I
Yeah,
care
that's
about
the thing.
my
Yeah, I
job.
feel like it creates a space where like you might hire not great coaches for these teams because like
Mhm.
of like you're forcing a team to do that instead of like
Yeah.
looking for
Or you're gonna have a male coach. Not saying all men do this, but like that just hire a woman and don't listen to them. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like they're trying to put their input and they're like, oh no, no, like you're assistant. You know, like
yeah, yeah,
I don't want those situations to happen either. So for me, I think it's a good idea because there needs to be more women coaches.
yeah,
Like I
yeah, for
don't
sure.
like in the club. I don't want to call them now, but like in my club that I'm like shadowing right now,
Yeah,
there's one and I'm
mhm,
working under her. And
yeah,
when I was playing for them, there was like three
yeah,
and I didn't have any of them. And they were like assistant coaches. So they weren't even like
yeah,
head, you know? So for me, I think it is a good idea because there needs to be more of a influx of women coaches, but also I want to be hired because I'm good at my job, because I care about my job, because
yeah,
I care about the development of other players, you know. So we'll see. We'll see.
yeah,
I'm not saying I'm like a damn good coach, but like I'm always willing to learn and grow. And I think like I watched a podcast of this professional soccer player, and he was saying that because he took his B license, he was like, yeah, like I am in the course, but I feel stupid. He's like,
Why
I
did he
thought
say
being
that?
a professional soccer player was gonna make me like not world class, but to know more. He's like, I don't
Yeah.
know nothing. So I'm
Yeah.
prepared to be dumb. I'm prepared to be like,
Yeah,
not,
I don't know. I think it depends on the person and like if like just in general like a player like transitioning from player to a coach. Some players they could be an amazing player, but be a really bad coach, not understand that side of things. 'Cause it's a very different
mhm.
thing, right? And yeah, I mean, I'll have to like ask Paul again because I remember what he said about the course, but I don't remember his exact words. But
Mhm.
it's just like it's definitely a different view of everything, like compared
Yeah,
to just
that's what I
being on the
heard.
field.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
That's good. And so you're trying to apply for college coaching now, like do you think in the future you might want to coach on a professional team? Is that like kind of the end goal, or are you just kind of looking to see where it goes?
I think I just got asked this question on a
Oh, dang.
And I don't think I give the best answer I could have because I was so stressed and like nervous.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I want to just get to the level that I know I'm capable of.
Okay.
And I feel like I do want to coach at a professional level, whether it's like
Hmm.
assisting or head
Right.
coach, even
Right.
at a college level, assisting, obviously now I'm fairly new. I've coached before, but I haven't coached since my professional career, so it's been a minute.
Hmm.
So I need to learn like cues, the IDP, the individual player development. Like there's
Yeah.
like so many things that I have to learn that I'm okay with just learning for now
Hmm.
and just like seeing what my coaching style is, seeing what my coaching philosophy is.
Hmm.
Because like I said, I'm not the type of person to talk all the time, but
Yeah.
I want to see how I am in a coaching environment. Like when I did coach before, I really did not yell. I like
Yeah.
that's not who I am. I like my two brothers are lacrosse coaches and my brother yells all the time. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like I'm not the
Yeah.
type to be like, what are you doing? I just say, I
Yeah.
wait until they come off the pitch and I'm like, so what were we thinking there? What was your mindset in this? Like I
Yeah.
just know what communication means to me as a player.
Hmm.
So I feel like I need to use those tools and reinforcement tools towards
Hmm.
players,
Yeah.
not everyone is going to take the yelling.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do like the yelling, I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie,
Yeah.
but not everyone is going to respond to that. Not everyone is going to respond to positivity or not
Hmm.
everyone, there's like so many things that you have to see what makes a player tick, what
Yeah.
motivates a player. So I'm trying to see how that works as I watch the coach that I'm shadowing under right now,
Hmm.
because the generation now, they're different. I don't know, I don't want to speak too much, but they're different. So like you have to know like what motivates them. I used to be a camp director and
Okay.
I was a camp director for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I always told my counselors, do not joke with these kids. They will cry. Like if you
Oh,
say
like
like,
that.
oh, I'm gonna
Okay.
beat you in a 1v1 in basketball, they'll be like, no, you can't, no, you can't, like they'll cry. So I'm like, you have
I
to
didn't know it was like
know
that.
who you can joke with and who you can't
Yeah.
joke with,
Yeah.
and another thing, like I want to be a coach because I don't even see a lot of like Black women coaches,
Right. Yep.
like, and the women coaches that I've talked about before, love them, but they're white,
Hmm.
I've never had a Black male coach and I've never had a Black female coach
Yeah.
ever. I'm really trying to think. Like I've never, like I've had Black male coaches, but they weren't my club coaches. They were,
Yeah.
it was like a Super Y League team for
Yeah. Just
Washington,
like kind of.
like Spirit at the time when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I was like 12,
Yeah.
they weren't my main coaches, so
Mhm.
for me, I really want to inspire little girls that look like me,
Yeah.
that want to play soccer, that can say, I've had a female coach and she inspired me to do this, that, and the third. Because I don't want to only make an impact with players soccer wise. I want to make an impact with players personally. I want
Yeah.
to focus on the holistic approach of players because I don't
Mhm.
think that all coaches do that, especially at the professional level. They could
Yeah.
care less about your mental health sometimes. I'm like, okay.
No, like I think in the pro game, like once money is involved, like
Yeah.
you understand that it's a business at that point.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's also like what we were saying before. That's a huge shift too, like coming from like university or just different team and like going abroad playing pro. It's like, oh wow, there's a huge difference in the way like coaches interact with players. I think just coaches in general, like what you were saying before, with the way like a coach is, like especially for you because you're starting off in your coaching career, like it's a learning game of like how you want to present yourself. But again, like it's how you are, but it's then specific players too, like how they should be coached, like based on like who them as players and as people. So I feel like it's kind of two-sided in that sense of like you trying to figure out who you are as a coach, but then adapting again to like all these other players. I feel like that's what makes a good coach.
Yeah. For me, if you don't care to get to know the player as a person, then why are you coaching?
Yeah.
There's more to life than just being a good soccer player. If you're not a good person, what is that going to get you in the life? Like it's like so true though. Like what is that going to get you in life if you're not a good person? Or even if you're not trying to develop that player into being a good person, like learning how to be a good teammate or learning how to develop communication on the pitch, because sometimes, when you get the ball and your teammate's not telling you to turn or not telling you to play it back, like you have to teach these things to these players that can also lead them into the real world, communicating, being honest and open to other people that maybe, wow, in those moments, I never thought I could speak to this person, but now I can do it because I am confident on the field. So I think they also go hand in hand.
Yeah, and that's youth or in university. Like you teach those things kind of all across the board.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to end on, like we touched points a little bit, but coming from, having a playing career, especially like a career abroad, like what kind of aspects do you plan on or that you might think you will bring into like your coaching, like having all those experiences in the back?
Being patient.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think like the type of player that I am is like, I show it while I play. I'm not like an abrasive person. I don't yell unless like you're not giving me effort, obviously. But I'm the type of person that is kind of like a mediator. So what I want to bring here to the States is just, showing that I can create like a coaching philosophy that's fun and positive, but also competitive. I think I touched on this before, but I think a lot of girls or even boys too, just players are afraid to fail. They're really afraid that their coach is going to yell at them. Like my nephew does like quarterback stuff and, I work with him, and if he messes up, he feels like that's a failure, but he literally just messed up that one time,
Yeah.
and then they just give up and say, I can't. So I feel like when I do coach, I want to bring like that grittiness, you know.
Yeah.
It's okay to fail. It's okay to feel like you didn't do good in this moment, but how can you bounce back from this? How can you turn this into a learning curve? You know, I'm the type of person that always analyzes my games after. And, you know, I
Yeah.
rewatch the film and I, you know, tally how many touches I had, headers, 1v1 battles, you know, like just different things that I know that, yeah, I didn't do good in these moments, but what else did I do good at?
Right.
So I want to create an environment for my players that I'm not going to yell at you if you fail, but if you fail and you have a reaction and you're proactive, to me, that means more than just you failing in those moments. So for me, I just want to approach everything with open-mindedness. Then obviously, if my players can't get to a certain point, you know, where they're in this negative mindset, then I get to know them. I get to talk to them, you know, what is going through your head in these moments, and just like see where they are developmental wise. Then we check on their weaknesses and their strengths. We pick a few things together. Then we implement that in practice. We have an action plan. Then we talk about it within weeks of time. You know, I want to be that coach that cares about their progression, you know, that cares about their developmental level, because every single player, whether they play a lot of minutes or not, matter on the team. You know, they could have a different, sorry, my cat's leg is up. Could have like a different kind of a role, but
I don't want to jump on the call.
Yeah, like, what's going on? I just see his leg like all the way up. Like every player is gonna have a different type of role. Like this is like collegiate. If I'm talking about like a college level, there's gonna be players that don't play a lot of minutes. Yeah, but when you have a team first kind of mindset, I think that trumps all. You know, because the coach is not only looking at you and seeing like, oh wow, like even though she's not playing a lot of minutes, she's receptive to my communication. She's cheering her teammates on, you know, she's working hard at practice. What can I do to get her on the field more? You know? I think for me, I've had a lot of coaches in my life, positive and negative. I've moved around so much in my club career, being 14, playing with 17-year-olds. Like, you know, I've had a lot of experiences where I don't want to do the wrong thing, but I know as I go through this journey, I'm going to feel a lot, and I just have to be proactive about it. So I want to do this. I want to teach the same things to my players.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's youth, if it's college, or like once you get your B license, you can coach pro. Like I think you're going to be an amazing coach. And again, like in playing and coaching, like you're going to make mistakes, but you're also going to have a bunch of success, and it's all about learning from it. And again, like your whole mindset going into it, I think is the best to have. And I think especially what you said before, being a Black woman, like coaching, like we just need more of that. And you, like I said before, when you played your first year in Poland, like you're paving the way for people behind you to do the same. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's the most important thing for you doing that. And I'm just happy that you're still like around the sport and wanting to get back to that.
Yeah, I play futsal. I did 7v7 the other day. So like I'm still involved in the game, but it's not on a competitive level. And there are days where I do miss it. I'm like, dang, why did I just retire? But I think it comes with the territory of just like navigating and learning through this experience that I'm on right now. I'm still on it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, thank you again for like coming on talking to me. Like I'm so happy that I got to meet you in Poland when we did. And now that you're in Maryland, like Paul's from Virginia, so when I'm there, like hopefully like we'll be able
Come on by.
to meet up or something like that.
Of course.
And yeah, thanks everyone for coming back to watch episode 4. You can watch the full episode on my YouTube, and if you want more of the green space and want to see what else is about, you can go to my Instagram page. And just want to say thanks again, Clarissa, and I'll see you later.
Thank you. Good talking.
Yeah. All right. Bye.